Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Another Thursday night, another Riverbend Talent on the Big Z, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance, of the Stubblefield Band, of the Sea Shanties. He's one of the sea shanties that's singing away right now down in Morrison's Irish Pub. 6 o'clock underway down there. The expo tonight, Polly and the Pocket. 7 o'clock at the Alton Amphitheatre tonight. Nate Sickmeyer Band already underway at Fast Eddie's. Goes until 10. Kevin Gruen underway up at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville. It'll go till 9 o'clock. Schaefer and Sims underway at Big Daddy's. They go till 9 o'clock in Edwardsville. The Skylark Brothers, they're at the Peel Wood Fire Pizza underway already in Edwardsville until 9 o'clock.
Is that a new one?
Yeah, no, it's you haven't been around for about a month, so you know you haven't been paying attention.
I've been traveling, man.
That's right. Lanny and Julie, 7 to 10 tonight at Deutsch Village Inn, Pontoon Beach. Mo Pleasure already underway at Patrick's in Granite City, and down at the Mill tonight in Granite City. Tickets start at $35 for Van Halen with
Right.
Supernova.
Ah, there you go.
So yeah, they got
Van Halen.
That's right.
With an F. Van Halen.
our buddy Toxic Johnny doing the open mic down there at Old Herald at 6:30 tonight in Collinsville, and Small Town Sounds from 5:30 to 8:30 tonight at Prairie Inn in Dorsey, and of course the Experience Live Music Row underway every single Wednesday through Sunday down there in Belleville, a music festival constantly going. Friday night at the Expo, we got Maxa at 5 and the Dirty Mugs at 8 o'clock. We got Porch Cafe on Sunday down there for the Expo, and Almost Famous doing Saturday night at 7 o'clock down at the Alton Expo this weekend right here in downtown Alton. But we're talking about a few weekends away, and man, can you believe it, Pigpen, the 18th annual, and that's official. Last time we talked, we were making up numbers
Yeah,
for
that
the
usually happens.
Mississippi Earth Tones, and I think you mentioned that our guest tonight only missed one
Yeah.
over those 18 years, and they're headlining again this year, the Mississippi Earth Tones. Let's welcome Jake Slade.
Yeah, welcome, Randy.
Thanks.
Yeah, good to see
Nice
you again,
to be
bud.
here. Yeah, good to see you too. Yeah.
And Ryan?
Hello, how's it going?
Welcome
Good
back
to see
again. You know, he brought up the that we were talking beforehand about you guys doing 17 out of 18. He was announcing the bands for the Alton Expo, and the first time you guys played, you were talking about playing in the mud. I believe that was the
We did,
the
yes.
old the stage that you remember how they just had that
Yeah.
one little stage in the original expo grounds there that's now a parking lot. I think that's probably where you were playing was
Yeah,
right over
it
there.
seemed to be closer to the bridge.
Yeah.
That end of what was now the amphitheater, of course. But yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Those were all baseball fields when I was a kid.
We just forgot we were at the Venice Cafe the 9th, right?
Yeah, we just were there. We were trying to look up the show.
looking up the show. So.
Speaking of that,
I was
you
probably,
guys are there tomorrow night, right?
yeah, tomorrow
And Saturday.
And Saturday.
Tomorrow and Saturday, 2-night stand at the Venice. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, don't you love the 2-night stands? You set up once, you get paid twice to set up once.
Yes, it's a pretty nice, and we love the Venice Cafe.
Yeah.
All the people that work there are just great. Jeff, the owner, is wonderful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You know, it's it kind of makes you feel, I don't know, special playing in Venice, because I've endured this place since I moved to St. Louis, and meeting and becoming friends with Jeff and listening to how it was created makes it all the worth the while. Whatever we got to do to play there, it gets a little stuffed in there, but the people seem to deal well.
Can you fill us in on how it was created for the folks who don't know the story like me?
For the Venice Cafe?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Jeff purchased the venue. Gosh, I'm thinking it was like 78. He's actually, 36 years. Do the math. It's his 36th anniversary this week of the Venice Cafe. And him and numerous other...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, him and numerous other artists set out on a mission to create that place. And it's still kind of... What's beautiful about it is still today a work in progress, you know, and him working in his garden, and it's Jeff's perfection out there in his garden. The ironwork alone, a local ironworker artist pretty much cut his teeth on that place, for 20 years. So there's just been a lot of great artists that have come and gone through there. Actually went to one of Jeff's first art shows in a while. Randy and I went. Was that end of last year that we went to?
Yes.
Last year.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Jeff rarely does a showing, and that was a lot of fun. I was over at the Mad Out.
And his friend Ferg, who used to be the bass player for
Ferg.
Ferg of
The Gravoy Sheiks. Oh wait.
No. Famous guy.
Well,
on the road, but anyway,
yeah. Well, anyway, it was a great show, but we've had a lot of fun working with Jeff over the years. And at the end of the night, how cool he thinks it is. He's still playing there, and we were gifted.
He loves us, and we love him. It's just a great.
Well, this guy from Colorado, a good friend of us, Steve, he gifted us a neon Jake's Leg 40th anniversary sign, and that we gave it to Jeff. We're like,
oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool.
Perfect place.
Yeah.
Not that he needs another light.
Another neon, but
yeah, but now you're part.
Have you guys ever been there? You been to Venice Cafe?
I've never made it. No.
Oh, you have to.
And where's Venice Cafe?
Benton Park, corner of
It's
Limp
Benton
and
Park, across the 55 from the brewery.
Yeah.
You get off at Arsenal.
Limp and
it's
Pestalozzi.
a couple blocks.
Yeah.
You know where Fraser's restaurant is.
So it's sort of down the Cherokee.
Not that close.
No,
Not
not- little down Arsenal.
Arsenal 55 area, right
Okay.
there. Limp.
Little place.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can feel like a rock star there. There's 30 people just
And it's
jammed.
packed, right?
But they got a beautiful garden that they
Yeah.
keep shuffling people through. So
Nice.
It's
they
a
still
great.
do 200-300 through the door. It's amazing. So
We see such an array of people coming to check this place out too, and we happen to just be playing that night. That's what I like about it. We get a lot of Jake's Lake people there, but at the same time we get to see people like walking through this place with their eyes bulging out.
Yeah.
Trying to take it all in. It's impossible in one night. I'm still finding new things there. So.
Yeah, and that's like, have you've been down to the conservatory right down the road? It's sort of the same way with. It's sort of the same way with Cooliverse, with Mike's all his art. There's so much of it everywhere you look, both floor, and it's almost hard to take it all in because there's also action in the bar. There's a band, you know what I mean? But I like those places with an atmosphere like that, where they're, it's more than just a couple of beer posters and a Coors Light on the door or whatever.
Yeah, it's consistently changing.
Yeah.
Jeff protects his venue just like the conservatory protects their walls.
Yeah.
But having moving art on the walls is spectacular.
Yeah,
Speaking of Coolverse, an update, he's wanting to do that Miles Davis statue that he makes out of 1,000 trumpets.
Yes.
He got some money donated to him.
Really?
And it was a sizable amount.
Oh man!
So this may actually happen.
If this gets pulled off and we have a huge statue of Miles Davis made out of 1,000 trumpets sitting out there that you can see from the bridge, that's the sort of stuff this town should have.
Yeah.
Why don't we have it? There's got and again, if anybody has a trumpet that you're not using, get a hold of Mike Snyder, Cooliverse. You can just look him up in Cooliverse. I'm sure if you.
I've met Mike since hanging out in Alton this year, and he's such a good guy. What a hardworking artist.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Miles Davis is going to be 100 years old next year, and I've been hearing little tinklings. There's going to be a little bit of a party.
Oh yeah, as well there should be.
Yeah. I'm hearing also
come on,
talks of a new mural with Miles Davis on it. It's going to be beautiful.
It's kind of amazing. I mean, we do have the one statue downtown. That's nice. There needs to be a statue of Bonnie Bramlett right by that.
For real.
She was born in Alton too and touched rock and roll,
Big
deeper
time.
than about anybody I know, for sure. But
She's friends with the Beatles, so you can't get more rock than that.
Right.
I mean,
friends with the Beatles.
Oh, yeah, we're close friends.
That's some pedigree.
Yeah.
She introduced J.J. Cale to Eric Clapton. And
Right.
said, you need to do this guy's songs.
Better yet, she introduced Eric Clapton to B.B. King and said he about cried when that happened. So, amazing interview we got to do with her. Born right here in Alton and grew up in Granite City and ended up forming Delaney and Bonnie and ended up on the Roseanne show. And,
Well, and even before that, at the age 15, she was an Ikette, the only Caucasian Ikette ever. At the rare, ripe old age of 15, Ike Turner took her on the road.
Wow.
But they couldn't cross state lines.
Right.
with a white girl back then. So she only got to tour in Illinois with him.
Right.
But at 15, she was already blowing doors.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a statue of her right now. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff coming out of this area. But anyway, that's so cool of her. You've seen his stuff. Yeah, he's got this idea of taking 1,000 trumpets and forming them into a statue of Miles Davis, which would probably stand up.
His latest down at Conservatory, Mike, if you're listening, buddy, it's just like you have to take it in. It takes a minute to see that big a piece and the work that goes into it.
Is it the Tower of Radios?
This is the guts of the radios. You know, the okay. So Randy doesn't know, but the outside of the radio boxes are a. How would you describe it?
That's sort of
an
a cone,
angel?
sort of a cone, like an angel that's going to go on top of a Christmas
with
tree.
a moving
cone.
drum on top of it.
Yeah.
So all the guts of the radio become like a huge grill of a awesome car.
Yeah.
You have to
The
go. I'm
original
actually going to try and take
then-
Randy over
that-
after this.
But then he had 3 guitars on each side make the wings.
Four.
Four guitars
Four,
on
yeah.
each side, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a big
actual-
cone like an angel body with guitar wings coming out of it,
Mike is a hard worker.
and he makes
Nice.
he does
to check it
beautiful
out.
stuff.
Yeah, Mike is going to be on display down at Earth Tones.
Yeah, I hooked him up with a trailer to
Yeah.
move that sucker down there. So
Yeah, so if people want to catch you before Earth Tones, which is the 21st of September right here in Alton, they can catch you tomorrow night and Saturday night, 9 p.m. You guys start at the Venice Cafe.
The Venice Cafe, yeah.
And then on the 20th, you guys are doing the Old Orchard Gazebo Music Fest,
That's us.
right?
Yes.
Followed by Earth Tones, and then the Recovery Music Fest, right? What a big weekend for you guys.
We don't do too many show runs like this. We're
All
wondering
great
how this
venues.
happened.
We couldn't pass up any of them.
Well, yeah, we're
they just happened to string it up.
we're actually heading west on Thursday and playing another show, private engagement.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back for
And the Recovery Fest is Kirkwood Amphitheater.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
a
cool
beautiful,
place. We've never been there before.
tiny little beautiful venue.
And what a great cause that is, similar to the Earth Tones, and the Webster is a free show for community. We're on a free weekend of music this week.
Nice.
The next weekend
Nice.
is gonna be great. That's what it should be, right?
No pressure.
yeah, when I got to meet Bobby and Phil and Mickey and Bill, I was talking to him, and I said, hey man, so how did the record companies take it that you guys get paid to make a record and then you let all the fans just record it for free? And they said, Jerry would tell the record executives, hey man, once we put it in the air, it's not ours anymore. If the kids catch it, he said, besides that, we got to give the kids the music for free. They need the music. And if we give them the music for free, they'll buy enough T-shirts we can eat.
Yeah. And they come to the shows. Yeah.
And I love the attitude of, hey man, people need the music. Just give it to them,
Could you imagine having the app live streaming platforms we'd have now with the Grateful Dead?
Nugs, where
just
every show you could watch the video at will. Yeah, I mean,
I'm a huge Fish fan. I have the show on my app. Maybe 30 minutes after it's performed, you can listen to it.
Yeah.
Imagine having that with
it would have been
Jerry Garcia
crazy.
Band.
I mean, and if the technology would have been there, they would have done it because they were like, I remember walking out of Dead shows back when Jerry was still alive, and they're selling CDs of the show you just heard as you're walking to the parking lot. How did they get those in boxes so quick? And they're selling tonight's show as you're walking out. Those guys were always at the cutting edge of everything.
And the Dead didn't make anything off of those. Those were just private sales, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the Dead selling, or was it?
Well, no, I think it was their. I think
Oh, was it
I
the
think they
Dead
were
selling
actually
that?
the ones that were because they were.
They probably got,
It was towards the end, right? Like
when
90,
did people
93,
gonna buy
94. I started noticing that. But yeah, it's crazy to see the stuff those guys pulled off.
Nowadays, you talk ASCAP and BMI and CSAC and.
I owe money. Let's not talk about
Well, I was in the bar business for 26 years.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was my life. And,
So and you owned, what was the bar? Right
well, the
downtown?
first one was 20 North.
There it is, 20 North.
And the 20 North bar is in one of your buildings up here, right next to the Irish place.
Yes. That's the
It
actual
used to
bar.
be Big Muddy Pub.
Okay, yeah.
And a friend of mine owned that, and he installed that bar.
Nice.
And so that was 100 years in the first bar that I owned, and then it came out and went up there. But
we played what was the block party down here for the Alton Main Street, and I go, we have to go in here. Your bar is in here.
All
And
right.
we went in there and did a shot on the bar, and I was like, this is the 20 North bar. And for a fan, I was a big time
19
fan
years
back then. But it was cool about that bar. It spawned, was a gateway for numerous other people that were wanting to get into jam, and some that were into jam that came through town or went to college and came back with it. You know, the North gave the home to Jimmy Tebow, Brad Sarno, just some guys that are. I love the North because it's like the base. It's like the base of the jam tree in St. Louis. I was there when I was just a kid, just trying to figure out how they're doing that.
It was wild. And it was a dump, sometimes
yeah, great dump.
The dumpiest or the friendliest. So you don't have to put on a fancy shirt.
Right. But I brought my fancy walking cane.
I
What
mean,
should I do?
we had a capacity of 98, and we would do
98.
700 people through the door on a Monday night.
Oh, wow.
We had 25-cent draft bush.
Oh yeah.
Of course, this was
That's
in
the
the
good
80s.
old days.
We
Yeah, I
got
was gonna
away
say.
with so much stuff
Right.
that you could not get away with nowadays.
Oh, I remember late 80s, early 90s when the big club scene kind of hit, where there's all the stages and Granny's Rocker and all this. But they would have like these dime drink nights where you're getting mixed drinks for a dime. What happened to those days? Now they want $50 for a beer at a show.
Police happened to those days.
Got those
you
deep.
can't,
I got those deep Alton blues, man.
Yeah, we love Alton. We've been coming here for as long as I've been in the band. I've been
we've
playing
done a lot
here.
of
So
stuff here. We played at that Big Muddy Pub. I don't think.
yeah,
you
yeah.
did.
No, I did.
Did you?
Yeah. The stage in the back room there.
Yeah, the stage in the back room.
Kind
We're
of
not a
elevated
big
a little
fan of
bit
that.
with the prison.
Yeah, right
back
behind it.
room, back or the outside.
A friend of mine, Travis, owned it during the big muddy era, and I had a birthday there where they had a cake and they had some brownies that might have had some libations in them on one side. Everybody knew, but
My
then,
buddy had a deli. I mean, it was an Italian deli that was open called Stefan's.
they were just kind of out in the open. There's some ganja treats on one side, but then on the other side was chocolates. But we kind of forgot to tell everybody those were more psychedelic, a little more psilocybin in them than
Put a sign on
cannabis.
those.
Right? Yeah, it made for a fun night for anyone who didn't know.
I think at one time the Big Muddy was Fast Eddie's Fried Chicken. Same
Was
Fast
that
Eddie
Fast
that
Eddie?
started Bon Air.
So the
I
Fast
loved it.
Eddie's I
Yeah,
remember
it's just
is up in Midtown,
Yeah,
right
that's
by
later.
Midtown.
This
yeah.
was like way back.
And there was a Fast Eddie's way down on Broadway that had the big chicken, which actually, but before Fast Eddie owned the Bon Air, when Ladio Polanco owned the Bon Air, it was just Bon Air. My dad lived in the upstairs apartment of that sucker back in the 50s. Yeah.
That place you used to not get anywhere near. It was crowded every.
A line around the block.
It seemed that way every time I went there.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't judge that, but
You guys,
amazing place, right?
you guys ever played Fast Eddie's?
No, never had.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
After all these years.
it's one of those weird things, like we talk about how there's a bit of an incestuous music relationship over in St. Louis with like 10 guys making up 5 or 6 of the big bands over there. You got the same guys in Joe Dirt and El Monstero and Celebration Day, and they're great. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
But the Fast Eddie's crew seems like that too. There's like about 20 people that make up the bands that play there every night, and
Well,
it's
I
just a
got to give
different.
the one, my best buddy from Alton, Jay Hollinger.
Oh,
I've been
Hollinger,
down there.
yeah, Hollinger.
15 years he's been playing house there.
Nice, dude. And yeah, we haven't had Jay
Hi, Jay.
on for a long time, man.
It's been
We
a
gotta-
while. I think
we
you
gotta-
made him mad last time.
Yeah, I make
Probably.
everybody mad. I
You
get
got
all handsy.
Feely with him again.
Well, you know,
and-
that's a really awesome thing for any town to have a stage for the musicians so consistently. I mean, that's what creates the music scene, is having the places to play.
Well, and that's like he puts together this list, but this is like Thursday through Sunday, just on this side of the river. There are plenty of places to play, but like Fast Eddie's having music 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
There are not many places. You're lucky to get weekend.
I cut my teeth over here in Macoupin County, Madison County, when I was 20. Well, I started playing a little early around here, like 17. I was getting into the clubs around here, but it was always, they always charged a little bit of a cover to see the bands back in the day, and that's kind of seems to go away. But you know, you really got to support the artists with a little bit of cover charge sometimes, and that helps everything. And more artists come through, gives the venues more options. You know, they got to eat out of their bar every night. Let's face it, it's not going to last. That was, you know, or their food or whatever they're doing at the club. You got to create it, but it was available for me right out of high school. I was making, I don't know, $50 or $80 a show or whatever it was, but I was making money every show.
Where are you from?
I'm from Staunton.
Oh, okay.
Illinois,
Yeah.
originally. Yeah.
So that's right with Quinn.
Yeah.
Quinn the Eskimo there. El Monstero.
Yeah, Mark. He went to school with my sister.
Yeah.
He's from Gillespie.
Let's see. Right down the road in Beneld, man. I miss the old parking lot shows in Beneld. And then who's the guy who had the farm right down the road there?
Uncle Monk. Yeah.
Man,
farm party for
those
25
farm
years.
parties were so. What didn't that start one like? I think before that, you guys would do it in the parking lot of the old Coliseum Ballroom. I feel like I saw
they
you guys.
moved it.
That was
We
the end of
started
it, I
at
think,
his
right?
private property, and back by it, he had
I remember. Yeah.
Horseshoe Lake. We
Yeah.
did it there. It got so big, they moved it up to that Beneld concert field or concert hall or
Behind
something
Yeah,
like that.
it was the old
Dance.
Coliseum Ballroom. Yeah.
So we did it outside in that field for
Yeah.
I think 1 or 2
So
years.
I had the order of operation backwards. It was the farm party
Yeah.
and then the parking
We
lot.
ended
Then
it
they
on the
finally ended
property,
up back at the farm.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
I think that
So
shut
see,
the
that's
Back
why I'm
at the-
confused.
yeah.
But I remember
Yeah.
talking to him and him say, what was the guy's name that owned the farm?
Rich Striegel.
Rich Striegel.
I remember talking to him, and he's like, "There's people carrying toddlers across, Route
It
4
got so crazy.
because you can't park on this side anymore." He's like, "I'm afraid someone's going to get hurt." And
Well, one year they announced it on Casey, and then the thing just
Yeah.
blew
Yeah.
up.
I think I saw Gary
And-
Bennett there. I
and-
worked with Gary Bennett for years, and I bumped into him out at one of those
Yeah.
farm parties out there.
And of course, they were afraid it was private property. They didn't want to get anybody hurt.
Yeah.
And it just got out of hand. Everything was peaceful,
Right.
but just too many people hanging around on the highways, and
and not taking care of business. Like let's see, my son is 18, but when he was about 2, I took my eyes off of him, and he wandered away at one of those parties. And my wife, of course, she had our daughter as a baby. She's like, "You're in charge of the sauna," and we had to go up to the stage and have you guys go.
Little guy missing.
I lost my kid, man. I'm sorry.
well, we're kid finders. That's part of our job.
Some people came up and said they had him. They're like they had their own kid with a pack and play, and they said he came up and crawled in our pack and play and tried to take a nap.
You know, it's just really hard to make.
They were great parties.
You
They
know,
were wonderful parties.
They can't exist anymore because of the media and outlets for just filming alone. Have a good time. That was.
And lawyers.
Yeah,
I was going to say it's
the liability insurance rates are probably different.
That is, and I've had a lot of people call me, friends I know that want to start festivals. They want to do this and that. Oh, we got my grandpa's got a farm. He's going to let us do it. And if you don't have insurance, I hate to tell you this, it is tough. And if you're trying to buy insurance for a one-time party, they're going to get you.
We've been approached many times. Oh, I got this piece of property. We're going to put this festival together. It doesn't come that way. It doesn't happen so easily. And
It takes a lot of work.
It takes a lot of work and a lot of permits and a lot of porta potties.
Right.
And planning.
Right. Oh yeah,
So
and
if you
then
don't
you
get-
still never know. Like
No.
you were talking about playing in the mud. 2021, I did a festival in Benton, Illinois, Southern Illinois. It rained so bad that weekend that Bonnaroo, which was 4 hours away, shut down. Had Andy Frasco playing at my party. He got canceled at Bonnaroo, came and played, and they played. Their sound guy was standing in this much water.
Oh my gosh.
There were. I mean, it didn't stop raining for 2 days, but they had a blast because and every time I see them since then, they're like, "Oh man, that was the biggest mud puddle we ever played in,"
Sean Eccles is like one of my old friends from college. I have
Nice.
to bring this up
Nice.
next time I talk to him. Remember playing in a puddle of water in Illinois?
But that very night, me and Eccles were hanging out partying, and I'd met him before. We had partied at backstage at the Bootleg. I'd hung out with the guys a few times, but this is our first time really like getting down, And
How'd
all of a
you do that
sudden,
with them guys
we start realizing that we know some of the same people. And so we start tracing it back, and all of a sudden he just looked at me and goes, I played in a band called Speakeasy. Yep. I said, I did a show with you at Kennedy's in the 90s. And,
Kennedy's, wow.
What a flashback, right?
Yeah,
And it was one of those, so the very, a little bit of time goes on. I don't see him for a minute. Or I think I did see him in Kentucky, but I kind of suddenly I'm backstage at Peach Fest out in Pennsylvania talking to him. And he says something about Speakeasy. I'm like, dude, you were in Speakeasy? He goes, we have been through this.
Yeah,
we know each other. Dude, that guy's a
Sean's,
maniac.
He's one of those guys that was destined to make every dime off music, and life, and wouldn't settle for anything less. But what he does with that guitar and the sponsors that he's picked up, I'm so proud of him. One of my favorite memories is we opened for Speakeasy down to Rockwell in Springfield, Missouri, and he invited me to open the show with him. It was like burning down the house, and Speakeasy shows were like the beginning of a Fresco show, you know. It was
the insanity,
the hype, the readiness, and coming out with those guys I obviously visually remember it because it was so much fun. Sean's a great guy. I love seeing him when he comes through.
The last time they came through, they were at the pageant, and of course he's from Springfield, Missouri, so he had a bunch of family up there.
Yeah.
And Ernie, the saxophone player, now he lives in St. Louis,
yeah.
So he's got a bunch of family. And I'm just trying to hang out backstage and not get caught up in no family. And I walk, backstage. I walk up some stairs, and there's Sean. He's getting ready to take a family picture, and he's like, "Hey, come here, get in the family picture with me." I'm like, "Dude, that's like your mom and your aunt, and they're all gonna look at this picture and go, who's this guy? This guy does not belong here."
Photobomb.
But he's just that kind of a guy. He's nice
really,
of a guy there. But
so you guys got 3 festivals in one weekend, starting on September 20th at the Old Orchard Gazebo Music Fest. Where's that at, and what's that about?
Wow. So that is really like a party for Webster, is what I call it.
Webster people.
Yeah.
It's at the I don't know what.
It kind of got out of hand last year. Not out of hand. It's in a tiny little corner gazebo, right in the middle of town. It's mostly
that we just hang out.
You would not think of it to be. So we got 360 around the band, which is odd, and we do the speakers 360.
Wow.
And it, I don't know. There was a massive amount of people. I don't know what the tally was, but it was more than they expected. Where they had to bring the cops and shut down streets, and it was because it's a free party, and the weather's beautiful.
Who puts it on? The city of Webster.
Yeah.
Who's doing that 360 sound for you?
Oh, that's our buddy and homeboy, and it's his birthday on Saturday. We wish him a happy early birthday, Mr. Dale Ashauer, with On the Bus Audio. And Dale's been with us. Well, it's a short story. I've been working with Dale for 26 years now, and I'm from Staunton, he's from Highland. I got in the band, and Dale joined
20 years ago, I think.
Yeah, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
15. I think he's 2-3 years behind me.
Right.
And and his brother Dave is our stage manager, and we love Dave and Dale. We got like a 7-man team right now that is really functioning consistently with the gear. Dale does the 360 sound, obviously.
Man. Well, as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
It's a cool.
That.
People just bring their lawn chairs and they just pack this whole. It's a small area, but they close off a couple streets and they sit across the street. It's been a really fun time.
So do you guys change the view the direction you're looking at any time? Or
we pump it out like a 90-minute set and then done.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. They show up 7.
Wow.
What is it? 7 to 8:30.
No.
Yeah.
7 to 9. We do a 2-hour set.
No, I don't know. We're
showing up. We'll be there.
We'll be there. We don't know.
No, it starts at 7. I know that. I think
Doesn't it say on our schedule? I have to check my schedule all the time.
So that's on the 20th of September, and then the 21st is what we're talking about tonight. The 18th annual down at the Alton Amphitheatre, Mississippi Earth Tones, and what a lineup for this! We got Anna and the Couch Burners kicking it off at noon until 2 o'clock, and then Gordo going to do his thing from 2 to 3.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Right, while Aaron, Cam, and the One Drop set up, and they'll play from 3 to 6, and then Gordo will come on again and do his thing for an hour while while Jake's Leg sets up, and you guys got 3 hours planned for Mississippi Earthstone, right? 7 to 10.
Man, that's gonna be it's gonna be fun. I'll be tired at the end of that, but that is gonna be fun.
I love the venue. What a beautiful venue you guys put up over there.
Maybe we can talk some of the camp guys to come up and play with the leg. You never know what's going to happen.
Never know.
Right. And glad to have it back down there at the Amphitheatre.
Sean, my buddy's a bud tender there too. So.
I know a little bit about Sean.
Working down to I bet you do. I'm working down to cookies now.
Sean is one of my favorite drummers in St. Louis. I tell him this all the time, and he's like, "Oh, shut up," But he trained under Max over at SIU, and Max is, if you're from Illinois and you're a drummer, you know who he is, and he's influenced and taught so many drummers. And myself, I didn't get to learn on it, get educated under him like Sean did, which would have been fanatical. And you could see it. But Sean's just a very natural player already, and then he adds the education behind it, and he's a superior player in my book. I wish I could read. Maybe I try to be like him, but no, he's an old good friend of mine. Same as Aaron and Andy. We've been working with those guys for a long time.
Ryan's a hard-working musician too.
Well, he's making a living.
He's a great drummer. Really.
No, when I was 15, my brother took me to see Jake's Leg at the farm party, and I didn't know people played Grateful Dead. Because you're a little bit isolated in the farm country with obviously the lack of media we had back then in the 90s. So we just kind of discovered things, which made it a little more beautiful in my book when you just stumble across something that completely changes your life. And live music, stumbling across it like that changed my life. And I couldn't stop. I still haven't stopped. Thanks to these guys.
So how many original members in Jake's Leg?
Well, two from the start, Dave Casper and myself.
Right, that goes back to the mid-'70s.
That goes 76.
Yeah.
Then Joe Trunco joined 92. Mm-hmm. Bill Noldcamper in 93. And
2005.
Ryan 20 years ago or 19 years ago.
So were you guys doing Dead tunes in the mid-'70s?
Well, it started out as a duo. A friend of mine out of high school, Tim Fay, and I got together. We were playing all kinds of, we called it country rock, but it was Beatles and Eagles and Neil Young and whatever we could get our hands on. That was being played around St. Louis at the clubs like around Euclid, which was the Central West End kind of area. So we hung around there. We were playing at a place one night called the Euclid Town Hall. And here comes a guy, he says, if I go get my bass and my equipment, can I sit in with you guys? And we're like, yeah, we'll never see you again. Well, sure enough, here he comes dragging his bass amp and guitar through the door. His name was Jim Allard. And he said, you guys should play more Grateful Dead. So we started playing more Dead, and he stayed in the band. He introduced us to a guy by the name of Dave Casper. This was like in 75, 76. And Tim and I were just, we had no skills as far as playing leads and stuff like that. We were just kind of accompanying ourselves. So when we met Dave Casper, he was this wild freaking guitar player that could jam, jam, jam. So we're like, we got to get him in the band. So that was 1976, and he stuck with us the whole time, of course. Yeah. And we added a couple different drummers. We had our original drummer was from Illinois, Millstadt. His name was Dennis McGuirk, but he wouldn't show up sometimes. So we found Azad Bogosian, who was playing with Connie Fairchild in St. Louis. And he joined a band, was with us for 22 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Then we had Lee Cram, played for about 3 years, and then we ended up with Ryan.
So that originated in St. Louis then?
It originated in St. Louis,
yes. What part of St. Louis?
We played a lot. I was from South St. Louis, Afton area, and Tim Fay was from Dogtown.
Okay.
He knew some of the Listons.
Yeah.
Were hanging around Dogtown at the time, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
it was a hot time in music in St. Louis.
Absolutely.
It was a while. It was mostly single acts, and we started playing at a club that ended up 20 North that was called Copper Door. and I was kind of a bartender there from 3 to 6, and then I'd go play music at night. And I ended up buying the bar from the guy that owned it, but we played there at the time too, and I think we were making $135 a night for the whole freaking band.
That's split. That's split.
That was split 5 ways, and everybody always got five got their cut. But yeah, those were the early days of Jake's Leg.
Yeah. So I guess you guys weren't really considered a Dead tribute band till years later then.
Well, when Jim Allard, like I say, Jim Allard stuck till he actually quit and moved out to Colorado, still playing the Dead, but. That was kind of what we and what he showed us, and what we kind of took from the Grateful Dead was their freedom in the music, that we could play it over and over again, and not play it the same. As a vocalist, I was kind of stuck with the lyrics, of course, but when Ryan joined the band, we were like, well, here's our song list, and it was about 300 songs or something. He goes, oh, when's rehearsal? And we're like, we're playing Thursday. So, because we the people that are in the band are able, we listen to each other, we play music with each other, and so we knew Ryan loved that kind of stuff too. And that's what made our band. So we would early days have more other stuff than Grateful Dead.
Right. And I've seen you even like out at the farm party we're talking about, play like some John Prine.
Right.
Oh yeah, and love John Prine.
I mean, I've seen you guys do things other than just the Dead.
But the Dead were a cover band.
I was going to say that the Dead were not the Dead. You go to a Dead show and maybe see one Dead song.
Right. Right. And you go see a Garcia band show and you don't have any Grateful Dead.
Right. But you're going to hear the way you make do the things you do.
I let it rock. Give it some Chuck Berry.
Well, I watched, Grateful Dead was Grateful Dead because their interpretations of it, and I always felt that strongly about when you play Grateful Dead, it should be the way you are interpreting it. And that endearment that the people has kind of given Jake's Leg over the years as Grateful Dead tribute. They never went to attain it, they've never really talked about it. Since I've been in the band in 20 years, like that's our thing. We're trying to be a tribute band. Right. We're just always trying to be Jake's Leg. And when that's over, then that's then that will be the end of the band. Rather than running out of material, it's running out of like interpretation or the ability to interpret. After
that's why I wanted to kind of dig into the history a little bit, because nowadays it's nothing to hear about this tribute. Well, we just talked about Van Halen. I mean, everybody's got a tribute of some sort.
I really don't care for it myself with Jake's Leg. It may be a little more prideful, but it's kind of we really like our thing. We're really not worried about what people think about it too much. We're really not worried about how the Dead played it this way. We're more looking for inspiration, and the arrangements, are the bonus to it, because we always know where we're going. But what happens is between us, and I think that's what has kept me going to see Jake's Leg when I was a kid, was that kind of original approach to it. You knew you weren't going to hear you were going to hear some of the licks that were the clutch movements to get you to where you're going in the song, but everything else was kind of left up to interpretation. I dug that.
So I'll give you a compliment, but first I'll explain. There's the guy named Jeff Larry from Bloomington.
Yeah, you told this story last
time. Did
I?
Okay. All right. See, well, they already know. Anyway, I was going to say the way he describes playing in songs like that is that, okay, if you're playing a Tom Petty song and everybody knows this lick, you don't have to do necessarily that exact lick, but you have to echo it. They have to hear and to know what you're doing, but you can still do it your own way. And there are portions of Dead songs, Terrapin Station. You have to hit the dun 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 dun.
You have to follow. Yes.
There are portions of it, but there between these portions of tightness, there are these great expansions of openness. Yeah. And even certain ones that are key phrases don't have to be spoke the exact same way every time. You just have to be able to hear that phrase within whatever you're doing, and he said, I already said it, but that Jeff Larry I'm talking about this talks that way. He doesn't like Grateful Dead. He loves Grateful Dead. Big Deadhead. Followed him all over. doesn't like tribute bands. And I took him to see you guys, and he said, okay, they do it right. They're not up there trying to play the song like an album or trying to recreate the live version from '77 that they love so much.
Yeah.
They're just up there playing. And that's...
I don't think we could have lasted without that spark that we never have set lists. I mean, for 45 years we didn't have set lists, and it was hand gestures up on stage, hand signals where we could... Whoever picked it, we just went, and that gave us so much energy. And we found out that listening is more, I mean, less is more sometimes. And when we'll have sit-in people that are saxophone players or something like that, we pull back and make sure that we're able to play with him.
Yeah.
Instead of us doing.
And that's the way it's done. I saw Bradford Marcellus sit in with the Dead. And it was jazz. It was a whole set of the Dead songs done jazz.
Yeah.
But you saw them lay back to give him that room to do his thing.
Right.
But yet he didn't monopolize all the time. He's playing as part of the band. Like you say, you got to keep it's a musical conversation. Sure, there's a pattern we're following here. There's a tune. We all know the tune. And the arrangement, it's sort of there. It may alter depending on nods and winks and shucks and whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But you're really, like you say, you're listening and responding to what happens. That guy says something, now it's my turn to say something in this conversation.
Right,
and
right.
that's why thousands of people followed the Dead all around the country, because it was different every night. And that's why people, even since 60, what'd you say, 76 you started? Still to this day.
67.
Yeah, 67.
66.
just before the Dead. We started, 64, just before the Dead.
Oh, right.
No, 76. Yeah, 76. And people still coming to see it because of that approach where it is, you're just jamming the tune.
We're not insulted if somebody says Grateful Dead tribute.
No, not at all.
But it doesn't describe the band.
Right.
And, Dead is very popular, so we live off of that, and we realize we have lived off of that. And had so much fun with that kind of stuff, that kind of music. But
that's what I think's interesting about you guys' history is, like, you probably didn't even hear anyone say Grateful Dead tribute till like the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just you were playing songs.
Everybody else was throwing, all musicians in the 80s were throwing rocks at us. They're going, you'll never last playing that freaking music you're playing.
Right.
Everybody's playing country rock and country music, and we're like, well, we really like this stuff, and we're having so much freaking fun.
But that's why it lasted, because you're doing it for the love of doing it, not because this makes
fun,
some,
8,000 times with it. So,
and having that outlet to North, really built something with the band. On that kind of camaraderie, and showing up every Thursday and Friday for 18 years. Do the math on the shows. I mean, just alone at one venue, having, as soon as we got our license, we were like, hey, we can drive to 20 North now, and we're starting to Bend, Van de Vendor.
That's a long drive back.
Under 20 North.
45 minutes.
The highways weren't what they are now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, but we had that resource, and everybody that came through SLU and WashU and all those years that,
all over the country.
I know.
Yeah.
I was in San Francisco last summer, and I had just Jake's Leg cigar on my Nalgene, and the guy's like, oh my God, Jake's Leg. I went to school there in the 90s, and we're coming back to St. Louis, and we were like so excited, we're all coming to see you, and you guys are off that weekend, man. But it was a fun story, but that's what I like about the band. It's kind of part of the community, part of St. Louis,
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to be part of your community next weekend at the
21st of September, right here in downtown Alton at the Amphitheatre. Not only Jake's Leg, who plays from 7 to 10, but we got Gordo, the one-man machine.
He's amazing.
Right. In between Aaron, Cam, and the One Drops, and Anna and the Couch Burners kicking it off at noon. So, that's a wild. That's probably, it's got to be one of the best Mississippi Earth Tones lineup ever.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
It's an amazing lineup. They are sold out of vendors. I think the latest total that I was sent was 130 vendors are going to be there.
Wow.
Takes all day just to see that.
Well, what's cool? I did a little bit of reading about the whole surrounding this weekend, and it's part of an Illinois, it's Our Lake Day, I believe it's called. Flipping to my notes. Yeah, it's Our River Day. Excuse me, Lake. And it's the state of Illinois. It's Our River Day, it's all about thinking about cleaning up our rivers, keeping the trash away from all the fishermen. I love you guys. I'm a huge fisherman. You got to pick up your stuff, when you leave. Not leaving an imprint. The Sierra Fund doing a offset in carbon emissions for this festival. There's so much environmental things that I would go on for 10 minutes just telling you about. Get around to the booths down there. Learn about this beautiful resource we have down here, this beautiful river. I've been in Alton now since April, and I've watched it fill and drain 3 times, and it is absolutely amazing. The watershed that's happening here is so special, and it should be adored and taken care of. And this event is all about its awareness, and the theme this year is Emerge and Be Heard. And so the art all around it will be reflecting Emerge and Be Heard about what you possibly, my interpretation was, maybe what you think should be happening to preserve these watersheds, which you think should be happening to preserve water conservation, or just litter patrol.
Move the humans out.
Yes, yes.
Don't tell AI.
So, hats off to Sarah McGivney.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
and
18 years she's been, putting this together with her friends.
I was going to say, the whole crew from
Sierra Club.
and Sierra Club.
Amazing.
And if I remember right, the early days, what they would do is they would go out and clean the river in the daytime, and then the party, the band playing, that's the celebration. That's, hey guys, thanks for cleaning the river. Here's a party.
Yes.
But it got to be such a big deal over the years. They had to separate it a little bit with it. Now the cleaning gets done a little earlier, I believe.
Yeah.
Because throwing the party so much work at this point that they're. But that is what Earth Tones started from. It is keeping our river clean. And
you get a lot of water up here too.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
It's something else to live next to it.
Yeah. Well,
I lived in Midtown St. Louis. I didn't ever live close to the river like this, and it's astounding. It is. It's impressive. It's beautiful. The way it flows out to the west right here in Alton is something that messes with my navigation at times.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I'm just in love with the community and the effort behind it. That the Alton Main Street organization puts to it. I met a lot of them. I met the mayor here now. Everybody just is really into this town. It's great to see the hype behind it and this huge celebration about why this whole town was built.
Yeah. There's one reason we're here, man.
The only reason this town is here.
all the early towns. Yeah, all the early
we like the hills. Yeah, we do like the hills.
Yeah, all the early towns started by rivers because that's where you got water. That's where you got.
Down the river.
I'm gonna.
We claim to be the home of rock and roll. Well, actually, East St. Louis, but we're close enough.
Well,
like with Miles Davis, we claim him too, and they claim him. You know what I'm saying?
We got Chuck Berry.
That's right. That's the story we tell all the time. That it was New Year's Eve when Johnny Johnson called a kid named Chuck Berry up on stage to fill in for his sax player, and the rest is history, folks. There's where rock and roll was born, because that man wrote his own songs, had that guitar, did the rock and roll that we all have emulated since.
Well, it's I believe there's a sort of a combination of a culmination of a few things, and
there's plenty.
It is definitely Johnny Johnson and his song. He wrote "Johnny Be Good" on the piano, and Chuck taking that and transposing it to guitar.
Yeah, that wasn't until later though.
But
the early songs, that wasn't a part of it. They hadn't even wrote that song until after they get up to Chess Records, and are putting out the Cadillac song.
It comes
Maybelline. So
it was shortly
true.
That's right.
But then you've also got Ike Turner from St.
With
Louis,
the distortion.
who according to Sam
Mid-50s,
Phillips,
right?
according to Sam Phillips, that was the first distortion recorded because his guitar amp fell out of the station wagon on the way to record, and they didn't have another one, so they just took newspaper and crumpled it up to hold the speaker up. And it came out distorted.
There's a Chuck Berry connection right blocks from us at that bar where your bar is at, Randy. And Chuck Berry sat in with the Jake's Leg at 20 North a couple of times and was leaning on that bar. We'll get some Chuck Berry's right in your downtown here, Alton.
And then think of how many acts were up there at the Coliseum.
Oh my gosh, my mom
seriously,
all my older sisters, I can Tina Turner on the radio.
Right, exactly. Cantina played right here in town.
Yeah, they played at the old Godfrey Civic Center back in the day. I think it's maybe an auto store now or something.
Right.
Godfrey.
It was so sad. That was the old 66 tour.
And then I always like to bring out, we got these ancient mounds around here. What kind of festivals were they throwing there?
Oh, right.
I guarantee they were throwing down some music.
Good festivals.
Exactly. And, so to me, it's a magical place. Like you're saying, the river runs a different direction right here.
It's just,
You know what I'm
things get
saying?
weird
So,
with the river
yeah.
from an
backwards.
outsider's perspective to everybody all year. And I actually went to school here in like 95, and I was just a college kid. And I lived up in Godfrey. I didn't even explore. We went down the river. I didn't even know what we were doing. We didn't do anything that I've been doing this year. Is taking advantage of this landscape. It's beautiful.
To me as a teenager, as you go down the river road, all those bluffs on the side, that was our escape. That was where society can't find us. Yeah. And so we early teen years and stuff, we'd ride our bikes down there and start feeling the way we want to feel and walk around all and
River Road is amazing.
Yeah, and the meeting of
It's
the great
amazing
three
when
rivers.
you see the water level,
Right.
and then you see, that's all.
We actually we're playing down there.
Yeah, you
in
guys are at
October.
the loading dock.
October.
Let's see,
Pete,
October the 12th. Yeah.
That's a great
Pete's
bar,
our old
too.
buddy. Yeah,
Great
we
bar.
love Pete.
You guys got a Shakedown Sunday going down on the 6th of October at Jefferson Barracks, and then at the loading dock on the 12th of October, you do the Old Rock House on the 18th, and also on December 21st, you do the Oyster Bar on November 9th and December 7th. And then your 48th anniversary coming up at Del Mar
That's really
Hall.
cool. You want a press release right now? Okay,
November,
first on air
Del
announcement.
Mar Hall, the 27th.
Yeah.
The 27th.
And-
Hey, I visit
Well,
JakeLakes.com. I mean,
All right, here it is.
That's where I go too.
Nobody knows this. I'm gonna give you guys the exclusive. So
All right.
next Friday, those tickets go on sale for the 48th anniversary
Del
at Del
Mar,
Mar. Yeah, everything's coming out next week, and we want to give huge thanks to our good buddy Pat Hagen, that we've been doing business with for all of our lives, who brings all that wonderful music to St. Louis, and he opens up the doors to a bunch of St. Louis guys every year, and we're so thankful to that. But so next Friday, we're going on sale. We're gonna the seating chart. I just seen it. We're going to play the Del Mar Hall instead of the pageant this year, which we're really excited about. We love that. We were some of the first bands to come through Del Mar, and we played three shows there maybe, and we bounced back and forth, but we're back at Del Mar this year. We're super excited. It's a little more intimate in there, a little more Mississippi Nights feeling.
Well, Del Mar, Mississippi Nights, legendary. I
Pat
saw
Hagen.
some amazing shows there. Yeah,
Pat Hagen booked Mississippi Nights for years.
Yeah, saw Willie Nelson there. Oh
Yes,
man, just
me too.
Yeah, it was great. But we were talking about Del Mar Hall. That's like one of my favorite rooms in St. Louis right
That's
now.
a very comfortable room.
It always sounds good. They've got the doors between the bar and the music room where like a lot of the chitty chatters go out there and sit at those tables and let the rest of us hear music.
Yes, it's
I like
very
that.
interesting.
But it's
Great green rooms too.
it is. Oh man, it's just a really. It always sounds right in there. And
Yeah, well, that's good to hear.
There's
So,
some other venues that are hitting. Even big venues can be hit and miss depending on the band that comes in and their
congratulations, by the way.
Yeah,
48th
48
anniversary,
48
November
years.
27th.
Man,
It's a lot
Can
of
you
candles.
believe it?
Yeah.
no.
No.
These guys talk about 50 years to me. I'm like, I'll hit 20 with you. That's cool.
It's no, it is. We don't know really what happened, and we talk about it, because we're amazed ourselves that people raised families and we had businesses and careers, and at the same time, we put this together, and so it's surreal to us too. And we never. I mean, where do you find 5 guys that'll obligate 2, 3, 4, 5 nights a week, 52 weeks out of the year to do, to go play music? And
Yeah.
Mr. Carter!
If you guys wouldn't mind, I want to throw out some thanks in our last few minutes here to you. This station is a huge supporter of the Earth Tones that's happening this weekend. And
Not this weekend. It's 21st.
Excuse me.
21st
Next weekend,
September.
21st.
2020.
2 weekends ago, we're at Venice Cafe next 2 nights. See what happens 2 weeks ago.
exactly.
2 weeks from now,
21st of September.
one of the most fun music festivals that we've done in the Midwest for the last 18 years.
Yeah.
17 out of 18 we've got knocked down, and it's because Sarah and Christina just love this town so much. And the station, thank you so much for what you guys do for it, and everybody else, all the donors. There's a list, or almost infinite, that they come up with to put this thing on because it's free. Yeah. All ages, come down, learn something about the river, get great music, local music. We'll all go hang out at the conservatory afterwards. That place is great. But it's really cool for me on a personal note, because I live like 5 blocks from this place now, to come down here and talk with you guys. We wanted to, from Jake's Lake, we wanted to thank you guys so much for having us on.
I was going to say, you guys have been so nice, and thank you so much.
Hey, yeah, I want to give a shout out. I meant to mention this earlier, and I forgot. Randy.
Yes.
You've got a show you're doing, Roots.fm.
The Roots.fm, yes. I do that. I have a little studio in my house. It's kind of like this, but not really.
Right. Yeah.
But I've been doing it for about a year, and the Roots called Jake's Leg, actually, and we all went down to they're in Fox Center, or whatever it's called, Grand Center.
The Arts District there.
Right next to the St. Louis Public Radio.
Channel 9 is in there, yeah.
And so, they're like, we'd really like to do, something you guys do at Dead Show, play Grateful Dead. And we're like, okay, well, nobody really knew if they had the time, we had the knowledge to do it, which it's turned out to be very simple. I mean,
Right.
I'm not putting any.
Oh no, man!
I don't have engineering.
Meaning that he can do it.
if anybody could do this, man.
That's exactly why we got in it. I mean, come on. We're in the air conditioning.
Exactly.
We couldn't get an office job.
I do a lot of this and a lot of this.
Well, it's got a cool name. We did get an all say in the name. It's called Jake's Lake Radio.
That's right. So,
with your host, a Wolfman.
A Wolfman, not the Wolfman.
Not the Wolfman, a Wolfman, Randy Pitt.
and so how do we find this?
Well, it's an app.
Okay.
And you download the app, and so they're 24/7. And Danny Liston's doing a show.
Yeah.
Dre's back on the radio with
the
Roots FM. A couple other Andy Coco's over there.
Nice.
Thank you for letting us talk about this. It's really odd to talk about it.
And I was just thinking about Danny Liston earlier today. I drove by Shay McDaniels. And I don't know if he's still involved in that. There's years ago he was
a long time ago. That was him and his brother.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I just thought as I drove past it earlier today, I went, Danny Liston. I wonder what that guy. But yeah, so he does. You do your show on Thursdays.
He does. Yeah, on Thursday, 1:00 and 6:00.
1:00 and 6:00.
Dre Stein is right before me.
Nice.
I think she's going to expand her show to 2 hours, and she does all kinds of great music.
Oh
too.
yeah, Dre's.
And actually, all the DJs that a lot of it's computer generated when they don't have somebody to fill in the time. But
it's non-for-profit. I mean,
non-for-profit.
All the DJs are volunteer.
Nice.
Well, I get paid a lot of money.
Doesn't mean if you don't want to give us money,
don't tell the other guys. But I'm getting a.
No, Jake's Lake Radio every Thursday. One it airs and 6 it repeats.
Just download the app at the Roots.fm.
Roots,
and it's been a lot of fun, and I have a lot of fun. I'm not a DJ. I just tell stories about Jake's Leg or something, say something stupid, and move on.
No, you are a DJ. If you just say stupid stuff, because that's all I've been doing for 30 years, man.
You've done a good job.
They do have a mobile broadcasting system that they use, and we've used it twice now. We broadcasted the Wildly Theater live last winter in Edwardsville, Illinois, and then we just did the Focal Point. Did we do Focal Point? This year?
The Focal Point.
You got a show coming up on the 14th at the Focal Point, right? Yeah, you guys just played the Wild E.
We did the Wild E a couple weeks ago.
Dave and Gonzo and the guys over there.
Love that venue.
Man, that place is awesome.
Right, cool. And you're back at the Wild E right in January.
Yeah. That's always our... We call it our end of our fiscal year.
End of our fiscal year in January. So exactly opposite of major corporations. They're ahead.
So it's fair to say you guys play the Wiley a couple times a year, and you play the loading dock a couple times a year.
Yeah.
I mean, for this area.
Yeah, we do. We do a spring and a fall up at the loading dock. Love Pete, and it's such a fun venue.
Yeah,
and there's so many people and sunsets and
it's just we've been at the loading dock for 10 plus. Or more. But now that I'm around here, you never know. I'm trying to get us working around. No, I've got a couple of eyes on prize, so pay attention to the website or whatever we're doing online. I don't do too much of that stuff, but maybe you'll see Jake's Lake Show this winter in Alton.
Yeah, well, we got plenty of venues around here. We talk about them every single week. I mean, we couldn't barely get through the list anymore. It's so long. It takes up like 6-7 pages. Yeah. That was just Thursday night. Like I said, normally we try to
Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Yeah, like this weekend we got the All 80s Mixer happening. The reunion down at Max Timeout for a lot of Alton High students, and so that'll be a big deal. All the bands down there playing from this area, and and they're veteran bands. They've been around forever. You know what we're doing on Saturday? A live painting. Lou Ann Brands is going to do a live painting down at the farmers market. So we're all over the place with our entertainment here in the area. So
they're bringing a piano down from the music store down to Earth Tones and letting everybody paint on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
That'll be interesting.
Cool, Jared.
Put up the plastic, Sarah and Christine.
Speaking of the Wild E, Pavlov's dog over there this weekend.
There you
go. So there's a blast from rock and roll history past, right?
We were just at the rally a couple weeks ago.
Oh, man. And up in your stomping ground, sort of Prairie Town, it's the When I'm 64 Beatle Fest happening.
Oh, yeah, they've been doing that for years.
Right.
Yeah.
So we might stop by there.
Yeah. Robert Perry Band going to be up there. The Fab Labs, they're going to do an early Beatles show at 5, and then they're going to do Sgt. Pepper's in its entirety at 6:15, followed by Whiskey River.
My goodness.
Are there any radio shows in St. Louis that announce all the things that are going on in St. Louis?
There's some podcasts that do.
Podcasts that do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have as many things going on as you guys got going on.
I mean, it goes
it's unbelievable.
Usually when we have St. Louis musicians over, if we read this whole list, they're like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
And Dennis here puts it all together. At since we didn't read the list, if you're wondering what's going on, simply go to cottonmouth.org. Dennis has all of this stuff listed as soon as you pop on. You don't have to scroll around and look for it. First thing that comes up is what's happening tonight.
And the idea behind it is not to only show, where to go see live music in our area. If you're a band looking to book a place and you want to know where to go, the list is right there. It's got all the venues. If you want to know other bands from our area, there's a list of bands on there. There's places to get your music played on the radio.
Which we'll have to add. We'll have to add Roots FM to that.
Right. So
I guarantee you go out and get jobs if you're a band. You can't just sit around. They're not going to call you.
So we've tried to
go ahead and get them if you're brand new.
We've gathered. We're on our 9th year, thanks to Halpin Music Company and Matt Van Voorhis, and we've tried to create a bit of a worksheet, because we know from being in bands for years, that's the hardest part, is finding all these places and booking the shows, and then everything else you need.
And
right?
Who can make it? Who can't make it?
Yeah, that's why you get paid, not to play.
Right.
A friend of mine.
It's all the bureaucracy.
A friend of mine just started playing a lot, and he said, "Hey, what's it going to take?" I said, "Well, just for the next 2 years, cancel everything that you were going to do with your family and friends, because you have to make yourself available.
No birthdays
for those shows that might pop."
All it takes is a lot of pain and suffering from giving up every other thing in life for this
and a few joints through the years. Shoulders, knees.
Oh, those kind of joints. Okay. Yeah, a few other joints too.
Oh, dang. My mother's listening. Hello, Mom.
I'm talking about, the knee joint and the... that joint you used to own that you guys played at?
20 North.
Yeah, that's a joint.
I got plenty new. I got new parts actually.
We got
our time.
We got a record label in town now. Right. Yeah. So Harbor Music, right? That's Nick Buffano, right? Who put on the MRF, right? He's got a show going on down at the Old Herald in Collinsville with Andrew Dahl and Matt Jordan on Saturday. So he's branching out. The Old Herald is a venue you need to check out. That'd be a great place for Jake's Leg. Open air, beautiful place right down there in Collinsville. And then there's the Miners Theater, which they're trying to raise money down there to refurbish that place. And that may be the biggest theater in our area. Miners is an amazing place.
You guys remember Stages?
Oh, yeah, down at Granite City. Oh, man.
We did our 12th anniversary at Stages but I saw Jerry Garcia band there. It was awesome.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, my
I don't.
God,
I don't
it
remember
was just
Garcia, but that was
wild.
probably before I got. I still listen to punk rock probably, but I did the little stage we talked about earlier. You guys playing in the mud down there. I did see Melvin Seals and the Melting Pot play on that same stage in the mud.
Well, we're always
They did
open.
have us elevated a little bit, but it was getting there, and back was a little muddy.
Well, we're always open to new opportunity, and we love Illinois, and we're really happy to be coming over here.
That's
We've
and
done a lot
anybody,
of stuff all through the Midwest, of course. But
anybody that wants to
Illinois for sure.
inquire about it, we have booking. Just go to jakesleg.com. We held down that IP for a long time.
Yeah.
And anyway, our booking is through there. Contact us through there. We definitely will always have an engagement with anybody that's welcomed, that's interested in bringing us to their town.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah. All right, that is Ryan and Randy from Jake's Leg. Of course, we got some guys missing. Joe
Joe.
Joe Trunco, Dave Casper,
Yep.
and Bill Milcamper.
And then, of course, our wonderful crew, Dale and Dave Ashauer from On the Bus Audio.
There you
Sometimes
go.
Patrick, sometimes
Patrick.
Dennis, sometimes
Patrick
we saw
and Mike.
We saw Mike the other day at Edwardsville.
We've got a great little crew.
And we can't forget
that
Doc.
runs around
Joe
with us.
McDonald was our old stage manager.
Yeah,
Country
Nice.
Joe McDonald.
And
comes
he used to
around.
come up.
Yeah.
He used to come down to green room, and say, "Okay, you rock stars, let's get going."
And he started yelling at us. Oh yeah. The thing is, we've got a great team. COVID changed a lot of things for everybody, and we hope everybody's sticking strong, making it through it. Keeping their businesses strong through all this. Having a team is what Jake's Leg is about, and right now it's why we're so functioning and still playing for y'all. And we thank you all from the bottom of our little hearts for keep on coming out and seeing us play. We sure enjoy it, and you guys make it for us. Without you, I doubt we'd do it much.
That's right. We've all played in empty rooms.
Oh yeah,
And
it's not as much
those
fun.
are like 8-hour jobs.
It feels like 12.
Oh my God.
Hey, well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming down, man.
Thank you.
Right on, man.
Yeah,
and
man.
and we will see you guys the 21st of September down at the Riverfront, the Amphitheatre for the 18th annual Mississippi Earth Tones
Right,
Festival.
and hopefully you guys will come back before that 48th anniversary and tell us some more secrets about what's going to be going down.
We'd love to. We'd love to. Thank
Give
you
us a
so
call.
much.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, big thanks to our sponsor, Halpin Music Company, and Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance. Thanks to everybody for listening. Everybody get out and support local music and art.